Dr. Daisaku Ikeda, president of Soka Gakkai International, has been submitting peace proposals every year on January 26 to the United Nations since 1983. Submitting his 32nd peace proposal, Dr. Ikeda has offered fresh thoughts on how we can redirect the currents of the 21st century toward greater hope, solidarity and peace.
Dr. Ikeda tells us about inner reformation, which can bring about the change in the environment. So that kind of inner reformation, that resilience which human beings have, that is the only way to be able to change the environment. Because without inner change, we will not be able to influence the environment. And through rippling effect, it will spread in the society, in the country, in the whole world.
Resilience in physics is described as the elasticity or ability of a material to return to its original form. It also expresses the capacities of societies to recover from shocks and crises. It should be seen as an integral aspect of humankind's shared project to create the future, a project in which anyone, anywhere can participate and which lays the solid foundations for a sustainable global society.
Dr. Ikeda focuses on three aspects of value creation to enhance social resilience and build sustainable global society.
The first aspect is value creation that always takes hope as its starting point.
Dr. Ikeda narrates the story of Malala Yousafzai, the 15-year-old who was shot in the head by the Taliban for pursuing women's and girls' education. Malala draws hope not simply from her desire to pursue her own education, but rather from the larger purpose of being rooted in women's rights, equality and empowerment. If we root our vision in the larger purpose for the sake of humanity, then we will be able to draw forth inherent hope and strength from within. Dr. Ikeda's writings are a reminder that we must go back to the original purpose, the starting point of our humanity, to be able to move forward with hope and strength.
Nelson Mandela said, hope is a powerful weapon, even when nothing else made it. He remained undefeated despite facing long and arduous imprisonment of 27 years, challenged with periods of utter despair.
The Buddhist philosophy embraced by members of the SGI, that of the 13th century Buddhist reformer Nichiren Daishonin, encourages people to regard their immediate surroundings as the arena for fulfilling their mission in life, even when beset by great difficulties, and to aspire to create personal narratives that will be a source of enduring hope.
Although on the face of it I had lost everything, my family, my mobility, physically I was injured badly, the real strength to fight my reality came from an awareness that I had survived because I have a mission to fulfill. My inner resolve that my life is precious and this is not the end enabled me to fight and move forward. My life is not the same anymore. It has been and still is challenging in many ways. But I have hope rooted in the philosophy of Nichiren Daishonin's Buddhism to work towards leading a happy and fulfilling life.
The second aspect is value creation of people working together to resolve issues.
This aspect also resonates with the Buddhist philosophy in which joy means delight shared by oneself and others. We can create a world which is filled with warm light of dignity and not let any individual to suffer in isolation.
We are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied into a single garment of destiny. We are made to live together. Dr. Ikeda suggests the longest journey starts with a single step, which is to engage in frank conversation with the people in our immediate environment.
Dialogue has the power to reach out to those who are across the border, to transcend the barriers and come together, work together towards common concerns. When you illuminate the dignity of others' lives, you find that your own potentials are also manifested.
And the third aspect is value creation that calls forth the best in each of us.
Good and evil are not absolute. Even the most destructive state of life is not constant. Even one who bears a positive life state has the potential for evil intent and action.
Dr. Ikeda points out that all people at all times retain the capacity to manifest goodness through a fundamental change in their inner resolve.
That when Ashoka won the war, and seeing what is the result of that war, a highly ambitious emperor of India for the first time realized, my God, how many people have died? 100,000 people killed. For what? No territory really gained to that extent which could compare to the disaster which took place. So he understood what the reality of life is, and then he built up a resilience within himself of ambition towards peace, and he sent his emissaries to all over the world.
We do not label individuals as good or evil. We qualify their deeds either as good or as evil. So the inner consciousness is more important than saying that this deed is good or bad. And I think also in the Soka Gakkai perception, the central point is the raising of the inner consciousness, so that the quality of the acts is in accord with your inner consciousness, which we believe will always give you the right direction.
The peace proposal emphasizes three key areas critical to the effort to create a sustainable global society. The first relates to education, with a focus on young people.
Education is critical. It holds the key, not only for the future of a nation, but the future of the whole mankind. But what kind of education? Dr. Daisaku Ikeda says that education which enables an individual to develop capacity to create value based on firm hope and the spirit to learn from the collective wisdom of the humanity. He has come out with a framework, educational framework for raising global citizens. According to him, there are three key elements of this framework.
Education that offers a deeper understanding of challenges that are facing humankind today, that also explores the causes behind those challenges and instills a shared hope and confidence that since these problems are essentially of human origin, the solution also somewhere lies with the human being.
Secondly, he says we need to identify impending global problems in the local phenomena, sensitize people about these local problems that can lead to global issues, and then empower them to take action where they are right now.
The third element of education for global citizenship is that it fosters empathetic imagination and a keen awareness that actions that benefit one's own nation might have a negative impact or be perceived as a threat by other nations, and that happiness and prosperity cannot be at the expense of others. When I was a student at Soka University of America, I made friends with students from 40 different countries. And I cannot possibly imagine that any of those countries will one day war with one another. And I think that is the key focus of education for global citizenship.
Dr. Ikeda also suggests the empowerment of youth as the focus of the Sustainable Development Goals.
As part of youth empowerment, it is really important that nation states work to create meaningful livelihood opportunities for young people in their countries. Not only that, by doing so, they enable young people to take active measures to engage with their communities and their societies at large. They create networks of peace that not only strengthen their local communities, but also transcend their national borders.
The next key area, as proposed by Dr. Ikeda, is regional cooperation for resilience to minimize the damage caused by extreme weather and other disasters. Sunesaburo Makiguchi, the founder of the Soka Gakkai, called for a transformation from zero-sum military competition to humanitarian competition. The exercises conducted by ASEAN Regional Forum, with its framework for regularly discussing better ways of cooperation, foreshadow this kind of transition.
Start with this foundation which can go into these issues which are likely to affect peace all over the world. Combined with natural disasters, which is a possibility in this region, if we are able to control this through a foundation laying down the policy for the region, we would have found answers for the entire world.
Dr. Ikeda suggests that a Japan-China-South Korea summit be held at the earliest opportunity to initiate dialogue toward this kind of cooperation. By taking up this challenge, we have the opportunity to generate new waves of value creation, not only in Asia but throughout the world. Another key area of Dr. Ikeda's peace proposal is for a world free of nuclear weapons. In 1957, Josei Toda issued a declaration calling for the abolition of nuclear weapons, denouncing them as an impermissible threat to the right of the world's people to live. Toward this, Dr. Ikeda made two concrete proposals. The first is for a nuclear weapons non-use agreement. The second proposal, based on the humanitarian impact of nuclear weapons, to enlist public opinion and catalyze negotiations for complete prohibition.
It is not just about eliminating nuclear weapons from the face of Earth, but it is a lot more than that. It is about people coming together and creating a global sustainable society wherein children and future generations can live at ease and can also enjoy the inherent dignity as human beings.
It is my responsibility to ensure that I strive to make sure that future generations are protected and have the ability to manifest their potential. And to that end, nuclear abolition is extremely important.
So SGI's efforts to build a culture of peace and the culture of human rights, it arises from the conviction of the members that they can change the society. They can change it even at global level. And that conviction is very, very important factor.
I will now, more than ever, strive to create a society which is just, equal, and one where the dignity and diversity of life is celebrated.
As a student of social and behavioral studies, I want to really hone my critical thinking abilities and work for the issues I stand for in a fundamental grassroots level with a very global perspective.
As a student of electronics and communication engineering, I will strive to be the best engineer and create new innovations which benefits people and leads to peaceful society.
जागी है अचानक मंजिलें जो रुकी थी भागी है अचानक. I feel each and every person has a significant role to play towards world peace. I want to sing beautiful songs and touch people's life, fostering goodness, hope and courage.
The process by which each of us, in our respective roles and capacities, strives to create that value, which is ours alone to realize, in order to benefit our fellow citizens, society as a whole, and the future.